नमस्ते, हमेशा खुश रहो बिटिया। Myself, Dr. Gaurav Gupta, Assistant Professor, Department of Forensic Medicine and Toxicology, Faculty of Homeopathic Science, Jyoti Vidyapeeth, Women's University, Jaipur. Our today's session is Infanticide and Child Abuse, Part 8. In the few previous sessions, we have studied about the general postmortem findings in case of infant or newborn death or feticides, fetal death, about the differentiating postmortem finding or autopsy finding in case of newborn child, the stillborn child, or deadborn child, about the causes of death in infant or fetus. There was natural causes of death, there was unnatural causes of death. These unnatural causes were either prenatal or postnatal, or about the criminal causes of death where there was act of omission or act of commission. In act of commission, there was the death of a child, intention to kill the child. Intentionally, the child is killed by different processes, are either by ligating him, or by cutting the throat, or by drowning him, or burning him. While in the case of act of omission, there was negligence. In this case, the mother doesn't provide care to infant intentionally, and this leads to the death of the child. Now, today's session, we will study about the child abuse. So in child abuse, there is a battered baby syndrome. So battered child is one who has received repetitive physical injuries as a result of non-accidental violence produced by a parent or a guardian. So in this case, a child receives injuries physically, and these injuries are repeated again and again, but these injuries are not due to the accidental reasons, but these injuries are due to non-accidental violences by the parents or guardian. It is not like the child fall on the floor or while get a physical injury while he was playing, but these are injuries which are non-accidental and due to the violence, and this violence is done by parent or a guardian. It is also called Caffey syndrome, Caffey-Kempe syndrome, maltreatment syndrome, or parent-infant traumatic stress syndrome. Now, what are the features of battered baby syndrome? Features related to the child. So majority in the majority of the cases, the age is below 3 years, and if we take the sex ratio in the case of child, then it is 2:1. In male it is 2, and in female it is 1. So males are more affected by this syndrome. Status of the child. Usually it is common in the case of illegitimate or unwanted children or pregnancies that occur before the marriage, or accidental pregnancies where there was failure of contraception. Position in family. Commonly the eldest or the youngest one is more affected, or the child may be mentally abnormal. He may have any mental disease or psychological problem. Now the features related to parents or guardian. In this case, marital status is important as it is more commonly seen in unmarried couples and commonly seen in some Western societies. If If it is point about the age of parents, then it is usually present in the younger parents. Usually these parents are belongs to lower economical status, or they have low level of education. They may have any addiction, they have a reckless lifestyle, and they are often indulge in drugs. If their childhood history is considered, often the parents themselves were the victim of battery during their childhood. So usually what they have received in their childhood, they are giving in their parenthood to their child. Psychological factors, usually low tolerance, low threshold level, impulsive nature, aggressive nature, and imbalanced temperament is observed in such parents or guardians. Features related to socio-familiar factors. Usually these parents belong to low educational, low social background. There is lack of equality between members of the family with lack of family harmony. There is lack of family coordination. There are disputes in the family members. Long-standing emotional problems in parents. Financial hardship. They are financially not very much strong. Trouble at the place of work. If they are facing any trouble at the place of work that affect their emotional and psychological level, and it may result into better baby syndrome. Now the features related to precipitating factors. Now the precipitating factor may be the act of disobedience by the child. The child doesn't listen to his parents or guardians, and in turn they do violence with the child. Frequent crying may create annoyance. The child cries very frequently and it irritates the parents, and in result they may harm or they may injure the baby. Refusal to take food. Similar, the child doesn't is not obedient. He refuses the food, and it makes parents angry. Soiling of napkin or blood clothes. At times, any triple act of the child may annoy the mentally challenged father or mother. In case of mentally challenged father or mother, it is a very difficult situation, as any trifle activity of the child, which may normally not affect, may affect these parents and may cause violence. Features arising suspicion of abuse. So in every case, there are some features which arises the suspicion that there is abuse with the children. The child is getting injury due to non-accidental causes. In this case, parents give vague history of accident to the cause of the injuries, like fall from stairs or caught, which does not appear consistent with the type of injury or time narrated by the parents. Often the parents give a history of tendency of the child to bruise easily. So if a parent is not able to give a proper history, if they are giving a vague history, or if they are giving a history which is not resembling with the injury, then it arises a suspicion, and often the parents give a history that the child has tendency to bruise easily after slightest injury. In this case, parents ask for the medical help very late, or when the condition of the children become serious. Often injuries in different stages of healing are found in the child. So in this case, there are multiple injuries at the different time. So when the child appears to a physician, injuries may be found at multiple areas with different stages of healing. In many cases, the parents later admit to have assaulted their children, but only mildly for punishment. So, on interrogation or taking careful history, the child may admit that they have assaulted their child, they have hit their child, they have injured their child, but the punishment was only mild. They didn't hurt the child very violently, but it was mild only. This session is powered by Digital Version 2.0, Jyoti Vidyapit Women's University. Hope you are satisfied with my digital session. If you have any query, please mention in comment box. I will resolve it. Thank you.